welcome to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to share a little bit about my life's journey in balancing skepticism and spiritual belief. For a majority of my life, I convinced myself that I was a skeptic of the paranormal and spiritual realm. I did not grow up with organized religion, and personally had a hard time believing in the concept of a singular God. Although I never personally felt forced to fall in line with specific belief systems, I did experience my own sense of rejection as someone who did not grow up in these circles. How could I possibly begin to believe? Even if I wanted to pursue organized religion, it would require an initial sense of belonging and community that I did not already feel. No religion or belief system stood out to me. I did not feel a spiritual connection to any specific church. Although, looking back on my life, my curiosity and desire to believe in something was always there. Only after years passed, when I did finally discover what my own beliefs are, was when I understood that this piece of me was not completely lacking, but simply not yet discovered. I had to go through a majority of my adult life before I finally found my connection to the spiritual world that I did not realize I was missing. Until recently, the internal battle I always faced was finding a balance between a spiritual belief system and my passion for science and objective truth. Throughout my entire life, I was under the impression that religion and science could never coexist. A strong example of this is with the well-known theory of evolution. Most organized religions insist that their belief systems prove that evolution could not be real. But this is in direct conflict with the scientific evidence. As a trained scientist in a STEM field, I constantly felt the pressure to not hold religious beliefs, which conflict with what I know to be true. My passion for the scientific method always took precedent over any religious scripture. I loved engaging in thoughtfully provoking conversation with those who hold strong religious values. I've always felt a thrill in learning more about other people's experiences, even if they directly conflict with my own. I love asking questions, not with the intent to debunk, but with the intent to learn. Looking back on my educational background, when I had opportunities in school to take religion classes, I loved to do so. I truly enjoyed learning more about Catholicism, Buddhism, and Hinduism in my world religion courses. What I did not understand at the time was that these two things that were seemingly in conflict could find true harmony together. In the past, everything felt so black and white. Religion and science could not coexist. This was confirmed in my personal experiences discussing religion and science with school peers, or, on rare occasions, strangers I would meet. Our conversations started out respectful and curious, but often resulted in mutual frustration. In the end, they believed that I asked too many questions. I relied too much on what I could only prove with hypothesis testing, while I felt that they should be asking more questions of their higher power, that a God or group of entities who have a divine plan would expect their pupils to question them along the way. I lacked blind faith, while they lacked the scientific method. Eventually, I gave up and sided entirely with scientific reasoning. I would tell people I was an atheist and had no interest in discussing religious inquiries. In my pursuit of expanding my religious knowledge, I never had a spiritual awakening when studying more about Christianity, Buddhism, or Hinduism. I never had a near-death experience where I saw heaven, nor did I experience a life-changing conversation with a deity. Following a specific religion felt like a barrier I could never pursue, out of fear that I would never be accepted. At the time, it made sense. Why should I give up my career and passion for science just for an organized religion without having some kind of spiritual awakening? That missing piece was with me all along, but I had to take a long journey to get there. In my last video, I explained a moment that truly turned me around on my connection to the spiritual world. Today, I still do not prescribe to organized religion, but my belief systems in the spiritual realm, spirit guides, reincarnation, and a sense of fate or destiny do have overlap with organized religion. As I have looked to begin training myself and learning more about psychic mediumship, I still don't think I have a term for what my beliefs really are. I feel a connection to spirit and do believe I am able to channel with tarot or through mindfulness, but I don't have a label to place on my own beliefs, and that is still something I am struggling to reconcile. I do, and technically always have, believed that there is more to life than this plane of existence. But what has mattered most to me is that my passion for science and STEM can still coexist with my connection to spirit. In fact, I believe that my scientific instincts of asking questions, testing hypotheses, and either confirming or refuting theories have strongly helped me to accept my spiritual truth and begin practicing my psychic skill sets. Without testing and questioning my own beliefs, I never would have found the sense of belonging and spiritual peace, which I am beginning to discover.